Well, I asked my question not in a derogatory way, just as a lay on the table, what have we learned? Is there anything we need to bring forward to this agreement that we, would have, could have, and the other, not making it bad, just learning?
I'll ask Chris
So-
that question to see if there's anything out there that, not that I know of.
I think one of the things that's interesting in these co-ops is that you rely on other schools and their efforts. For example, in hockey, we've had 3 or 4 people that have played in this cooperative hockey team with Lake Fenton and Kersley. And we still had our numbers. I think we had 4 or 5 Brandon kids this year, but the other schools had nobody.
Mhm.
So we lost our team because we relied on them to have a team. So that's a huge downside to the cooperatives. The good thing is that Goodrich is so similar to us, and there's similar interests, and I think us working together, I think we can rely on them a little bit better.
And the distance is close too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when it comes to practice time, they don't have to travel far.
Bodes well.
And I'm just glad my daughter did swim for 2 years, and that is a great sport. I mean, and I really seen those kids in our pool, and we do have probably one of the, if not the best pool in the Flint Metro League. I've been down in those basements, and there's nothing like coming to ours. Yeah, it's scary dreary, but yeah. So it's good that we want our kids, we want kids swimming in our pool. So,
Thank you, and
Yeah,
if I don't talk to you guys, everybody have a great holiday.
you too, Peter. Thank you. Okay, next I have strategic plan review with Dr. Outlaw.
This will be quick. I'm kind of just checking in to make sure that the board is okay with pathway we'd like to take with our strategic plan. Open a dialogue on this. So 5 years ago, we launched the Brandon 2025, which was a 10-year vision for the district. Truth is that a strategic plan is typically 5 years, but we wanted to have 10 years in mind as we really start looking at the long term for the district. What we'd like to do as an administrative team and in working with our Brandon 2025 team eventually is we'd like to review and refresh as opposed to starting from scratch. A lot of times what happens is 5 years later you start over completely from scratch, and it's a long process and it's not always effective. There's so many people involved. We've had a lot of good work and we've tweaked it each year, but what I'd like is the board's blessing to, instead of flushing our entire work down and starting fresh, I'd like to build off of what we've done and then come back to the board with a new, refreshed Brandon 2025 that will carry us for the next 5 years. And I wanted to see if you were okay with that, if you had questions about it.
Why wouldn't we just refresh? Is it because if you don't start from scratch, your thoughts are kind of in a lane and you don't break out of the lane and get stuck without fresh thinking? Is that?
I think that is part of it, because it needs to be refreshed. Because going the next 5 years aren't the same as the last 5 years. We're in a very different spot than we were a few years ago. I think that's the general thinking, is that the shelf life of a strategic plan is 5 years. They're using that 10 years.
So it's going into it with the mindset.
So we're in the mindset that
Okay.
we're gonna refresh this, and but we're not gonna start from completely from scratch. We're gonna come in, and there's gonna be some big changes that I'd like to bring back to the board and do. But I'd like to go through the whole process, review, go step by step, work with the committee. I'm gonna be requesting new people on the committee. But I'd like to stick with this Brandon 2025 and focus on the next 5 years with the same big goals of we're going to be in the top 25 in the state in all tested areas, by 2025, and maybe we can make some tweaks really in our pathway to get there.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
No, it sounds
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
I think we should.
Like Lisa said, it sounds pretty logical to me. I mean, things change all the time, so you gotta kind of go back and look at where you were, where things are, and go a fresh look on it. So, yeah, for sure.
But this is the district's strategic plan, so it's going to come back here, and maybe we'll report out as we go along. But I think at the end, I'd like the committee to come in and do a full report and go through all the different tweaks and everything like we would if it was completely fresh.
Right.
And then the board to say, yes, we agree with this direction. And I think that would be our final sign off that, okay, going into the 1920 school year, this is our next 5-year strategic plan.
Right.
Okay? All right, but I wanted to at least talk to you about it before we just went ahead.
Anybody else got any questions? Oh. Yes, go ahead.
Sure. In the last newsletter, John was talking about, John had a really good idea connected with the DEEP program, which is a dual enrollment program that we had with U of M Flint. And one of the challenges that we're having is, even though it's these dramatically reduced tuition fees for people, it's like 40% of tuition, that people didn't have the cash on hand. So John made some connections with the Genesis Bank, and they came up with a savings program where kids can start putting money aside. It could either go toward college down the road, or it could go to the DEEP program, but where they could create these accounts. And we launched it last month. It was in our update, but it's a way for students to learn some financial responsibility. And if you're getting birthday money or lawn cutting money, and you're able to maybe put it into an account and watch that grow. Then when the time comes, I want to be a part of this dual enrollment program. You have a little nest egg that will allow you to maybe access those classes. But John worked with Genesis and brought that opportunity out there, so
Good.
really good. Thanks, John. Yeah, thanks,
So,
John.
when you're talking with people, just let them know.
Listen to the kids.
Start your savings plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Mr. Dan's still here, that was on his list. Oh, here.
I think we proceed without Bob.
Okay, I thought Bob may be here by now, but he's not. If we have a moment, Deb, you could please stand. Okay. And I did have to write this out because there was so much I wanted to remember. Okay, Deb has been on the Brandon School Board since 2009. She did take off 2013, but she was right back and appointed in February of 2014. She served every position on the board except for president. In the last 5 years, she's been our treasurer. Her children are Brandon grads, and her grandkids are Brandon students.
One is still a student,
Oh,
two
one-
are graduated.
2 are graduated. I had 1 possible. So, and the committees that Deb has served on is building site, policy and procedures, student-parent relations, personnel. But there are 2 committees that Deb's name was really like embedded on. And every year she's been on the athletic committee. She's been the champion of our sports programs and our female athletes. She has been 6 years on the finance and negotiation committee, and it's been these 2 areas that Deb has the most compassion and expertise in, and this will be missed. Our board members have looked to Deb for her history of and connections to our school district and community. It is Deb that keeps us reminded on how important our community has said or what we've committed so we don't forget. Deb, we thank you for your dedication
Very
to our
nice.
kids, schools, and our community.
Thank you. Well,
You may want to step out there, Deb,
Oh.
like out in the open.
Okay.
It's a new car?
Yeah.
it's a Cadillac.
Okay, wait. Yep.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh, wow.
I love
Wow.
Let's show this up
I
here.
think it,
Come
can
on
I
over
do
here.
this and take so I can give it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, take,
Yeah, that's great.
Check this out. One of these for Mr. Ice Skater as well.
yeah.
That is
Whoops, sorry.
And it says, Deb Brady, thank you for all that you have done for the Brandon students and the Brandon community. Now, I didn't know that was on there when I wrote my test. 2009 to 2018.
That's great.
Congratulations. And that is so good. That's an overall
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I did talk Sarah Allen into running for the board.
I
There you go.
I know she will do a great job for you guys
Yeah.
to replace me. This is beautiful.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, she
Yes.
dragged me into this in 2010.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the trend here.
And I drug her back in 2013.
Yeah.
Does she want to adjourn the meeting or you want to eat cake first?
Okay, yeah, meeting's adjourned, let's eat cake. Yeah.
We'd like to invite everybody to come
Come on
up. Just Brady, we've got a cake for our outgoing.
Oh, and Mr. Moore shows up.
Lisa Cavaluna. Here.
Here.
Diane Telford.
Here.
Dr. Outlaw. Jamie.
It's
Okay,
I'm
don't,
here.
we gotta make sure our high school rep has got to be all set. Okay, if we could please stand for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to get her a moment to set things up, but we're going to get our Brandon High School student report. We just voted for improved technology for next week.
Hi, I'm Zoe. Savannah can't make it tonight, but this is our update for December for the high school. So for student council, we did our charity week the past week. Usually we do it the first week of December, but we moved it for compatibility with some of the games and stuff for some of the events that we did. On Monday, we did okay. Well, I'll just say, it was for the Leader Dogs for the Blind, and certain events, most of the events went to them. One event got changed on Friday night. We were going to do it for Leader Dogs for the Blind, but instead we did it for Mr. Tabar. It was a Miracle Minute. We did 2 of those at the games on Tuesday and Friday. Some of the other events were, we did a movie night, we did breakfast vendors, and we also did like raffles and penny wars in the cafeteria for lunches. And so then for this week, we decided to do more for Mr. Tabar. So that was it. We're planning an in-school Miracle Minute for Wednesday. So between us and Link Crew, we're going to get split up into classes, and everybody's going to know about it beforehand, and we'll go through all the classrooms and do a Miracle Minute that way. And then we were going to have an FML student council meeting, but that was canceled. We were going to do like our, with all the other schools in the Flint Metro, we were going to do our service project with, and the pictures are actually people starting our service project today since we didn't get to do it Friday. So that was, they started making laundry soap to put in these bags that we have, and they're basically like necessity bags. They're going to have all the little necessities in there, and we're going to give them to the Brandon Community Church's clothing closet so people can have them.
Winter sports started recently. We've had 4 basketball games. Poms began performances, I think, last Friday. And then bowling tournaments started, I think they've had 6 or 7. And then all academic dream team was Cooper.
Hey.
We also have Holiday Spirit Week this week. We couldn't fit that on the student council slide, so we made its own slide. But so today was Holiday Sock and Scarf Day. Tomorrow is Red and Green Day. Wednesday is Flannel Day. Thursday is Santa Hat Elf Day, and Friday is Ugly Sweater Day. And so far for the Spirit Points, the freshmen are winning.
That's only one day, right?
It's between, we've had multiple other Spirit Weeks and Spirit Days, so it's like a homecoming week, and then there's other like Spirit Days we mix in there and stuff, and then some of the things even for like Charity Week, like the Penny Wars, whoever won that won Spirit Points. So like the sophomores won Spirit Points for that. So it's a mix of different stuff that they're definitely winning. They're doing really good.
We also give spirit points for like if people show up to basketball games. We did a couple football games. So we're giving them participation like spirit points as well.
Yeah, we're starting to do that. That way there's more attendance at certain events that there's not necessarily as much as.
We recently had Challenge Day. We've heard that every attendee enjoyed the event. We didn't attend. And then nearly all slots were filled both days, and we plan on continuing this event.
That's all. That's
Well,
all we
thank
have.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have the superintendent's report, the school showcase middle school musical.
All right, I'd like to invite Ricky Miller and the team up. We had an amazing middle school musical. This is the second year. Last year they did Annie Jr. This year they did Willy Wonka Jr. It was absolutely amazing. It's a budding program that's doing some great things. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Miller.
Hi, good evening. So I am Brittany Miller. I'm the choir person for the middle school and the high school. And as Dr. Outlaw just said, we were fortunate enough last year to get to do Annie. And this year we did Willy Wonka, which was amazing. I do have some pictures to show you that were up. You might have already seen them as they were playing. Oh, there we go. You recognize my superstar Pete here. This is Pete Moore. He was Charlie Bucket. This is Karen Marino. She was our Violet Beauregard. We had about 80 students that were a part of this team, including about 12 high school students that came and helped out. Many adults. I'm one of 3 that were in charge of working day to day, but we had 5 or 6 that were just came in and helped at the end when you have 80 children running around trying to put costumes on, so you can imagine what that looks like. So there were 22 songs, there were about 25 scenes that they put together, so we're talking about on and off the stage. It was really neat, absolutely beautiful. So this is my friend Taryn. One of the tricks of this show, you get to leave in a second, don't be freaked out.
Okay.
So, one of the tricks of this show is she has to blow up like a blueberry, so we thought we'd give you a preview. So she's not very big. She's actually a teeny tiny kid, but I've got a sumo suit on her. And while Pete does his thing, she's going to go out in the hall and flip the switch and become a blueberry in a second. So this is her before look. Go do your thing, kid. And then Peter Moore here, who is our Charlie Bucket. He's going to do just a quick song for you before he actually gets the golden ticket. So he's got the Wonka bar. He doesn't know if it has the golden ticket in it, and he's going to sing a quick song for you. Yeah. Do you want to sing some of? Okay. You just let me know. Whatever the spirit takes you, Pete.
On the one hand, you are just a bar of chocolate, no different from the rest. On the other hand, you're a superstar of chocolate, to Willy Wonka's treasure chest. Whichever you are, I'm hoping for
happens when you chew gum that you're not supposed to chew. Yeah, exactly. Danny, do you have any questions for us?
That's awesome. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Great.
What was the best part?
Being weird.
What grade are you in?
Great.
Grade.
8th grade.
8th grade and
7.
7. So next year you'll be the high school play. Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Great job, guys.
great job.
And if you guys want to come to the musical, the next one's going to be in April for the high school. So if you want to come, please email me. I'll get you some tickets.
Okay. What are they gonna play?
We haven't ordered it yet,
Okay,
but I'll
so-
let you know. We're
Okay.
supposed to order it this week.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
tips over?
What?
What happens if she tips over?
Well, I can kick her if you want. But I like her. She's just squishy. Not
Oh my God.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes, great job.
So, a couple quick follow-ups on this. A couple years ago, we've had a lot of conversations about drama, about this. It's something that was real. People that were in elementary school and middle school really wanted to have more drama opportunities. And Brittany has really taken a lead in that area. At elementary school, we've got Peggy Miller-Zelenko, who's done a lot with drama. I think our drama program is just absolutely exploding. And what was neat is last year we had Annie. That's the first middle school musical. Brittany, am I right? That's the first one ever?
I think Terry Lemke did them way in the past, but they were in the Kiva, so they were like maybe 15 kids in her class.
So it was the first one that we ran like a full production. It was
Yes.
fabulous. Annie was great. What was neat this year is there was a lot of boys in it too. So it's becoming this thing that it's like, that's what you need in order to have a really robust drama program. So really excited about that. The high school program's booming. Now we have the middle school booming, and Peggy's got the elementary going. During the summertime, Jan had them through community ed doing this summer musical theater, and they did
Schoolhouse Rock.
It was so awesome, and the crowd is packed, and everybody's like smiles ear to ear the whole time. So anyway, you're doing a great job.
Thank you very
Really
much.
Thank you
excited.
guys.
Now, I know in the workshop we talked about that Visionary 2025 committee that we have. That's one of the items that did come out of that too. It was great that we wanted to bring this down to our lower level. So
Well,
thank
we
you
love
very
it, and they
much.
had a great time.
Oh, it looked like fun.
Yeah, they were
Thank you.
smiling the whole time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next, special recognition of outgoing board members Deb Brady and Bob Eisner.
And just during the work session, Diane talked a lot about our two folks that we're losing here. They've been great assets to the team here. It's been a real honor to work for you. You're going to be very much missed, and hope you don't forget about us here. Just want to thank you again for everything that you've done for us. Anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's been an honor to work with both of you too. So, and I know Deb, you've been here such a long time in this community. And just, I think your voice in our heads will continue for reminding us. And if not, it's going to be from the podium.
Okay.
Yeah, and Bob, thank you for your years of service and your commitment to the teacher and the kids. So, we thank you very much. And if you, where's the plaques? I don't know if you get a chance, I know there's one back here, but nice little plaques of Deputy Overall's jersey for both of them. Okay, public comments and questions on agenda business. Anybody?
No.
Okay. Next, we're going to do approval of the consent agenda. If I could get a motion, please.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as noted.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion passed. Information and discussion items, finance report, Jan.
Tonight, I just wanted to update you on to let you know that everything is going as planned on the timeline for the high school renovation. We have, all the RFPs are hitting the street this week. We'll be back and evaluate, and interviews will take place the week of January 21st. On the January 28th special board meeting, Brian from Wakely will be here, as well as John Thompson, and to discuss who we'd like to award the contract to. We're looking to do it to award to a general contractor as opposed to individual vendors. And then at the same time, on the 28th, we'll be talking about the IP. But everything is on track. I think you had the chance to see some pictures. And
Yes.
hopefully,
Thank you.
yeah, hopefully, what was taken into consideration with the architect and the designer, and is the we wanted obviously aesthetic, but the cost was a factor. We just
Oh,
that was a big factor. But then the durability of the type of floor, especially, and the maintenance. So what was ultimately decided was something that would be, John was very happy, very maintenance free, and then of course the aesthetic. So I think we hit upon all of those points, and it's going to be beautiful, I think. So I want to let you know we are on track for that, and the 28th will be the big day in terms of awarding contracts, and then I'll be here on the 7th to talk about the budget amendment.
And then if or when that's approved, it'll start be over the summer. It should be ready for next year.
Absolutely. Yes. So, to be concluded before, obviously before school starts. So they will be working lots of hours.
Yep.
They keep asking Brian, can this get done? Can this get done? We can't let him up, and he says yes. So,
Yeah.
we don't want to start school.
And then on the 28th, we're also going to have our first discussion about the 1920 budget.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
Yep.
projects and
Yep.
the following
Yeah.
year's
We're working on our format.
preliminary discussion.
Yes, our format with the investments for next year.
January 28th.
Oh, for some reason I thought.
It's a
I heard-
special meeting. We're 7th.
Right.
The 7th is our
I think-
organizational meeting.
Yep.
And Jan will do the budget amendment at the organizational meeting. And then the 28th. Yeah.
28th
And
is
then-
our kickoff to 1920.
When was
Right.
training? The 9th.
That 8th.
They,
Yeah, I think it's 8th or 9th. I don't remember how long.
I had a 9.
But it's the
Okay.
9th.
the 28th?
28th is, yeah.
What time? 5:30?
5:30.
Yep, 5:30. The governance training, the new board is the 9th at 5:30.
so 9th to 5:30.
That's at central office.
I think we're Monday, yeah. The 28th was.
It's on your calendar, so.
Okay, it'll be on our calendar, I know.
Invite, so.
I'll say yes.
All right.
I got it, no worries.
Okay, next, all set, Jan?
I'm all set.
Okay. Next, education report, Dr. Schmidt.
Sure. First off, I just want to highlight some of the stuff we just seen today. I'll talk about them personally from my perspective, if that's okay. Middle school play, got to bring 3 of my kids. I brought my 3 youngest kids from 3 up through 8 years old to it. In the evenings, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and they were riveted. Smiles galore, laughing and giggling. I mean, if you can captivate them in the evenings, you're doing something amazing. To hear Brittany say 80 kids involved, I mean, that's bigger than sports programs. That's huge. That's amazing. So really kudos to her. Something else I was able to take part in recently over the high school's Challenge Day. Not sure how many of you have ever been a part of a Challenge Day over there. I was part of one 15 years ago and was asked to be involved again just 2 weeks ago. And the kids we have here in Brandon they are just amazing. Their vulnerability, their ability just to be real, to open up, find trusted adults and just talk to them about real problems and real things going on in their lives. And I was a stranger to all of them, and their just willingness to let me open up. And I was crying, and I was a hot mess right in front of them. It was just a powerful program. So kudos to Dan and his team for bringing that to the kids.
And I was there for one of the challenge days too, and I have to say, I hope the program stays. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was really, really exhausted at the end of the day, and Shelby was there with me too. It was emotionally exhausting, but at the same time, there is that, I think, reward that you feel, or I mean, like you say, our kids are such good kids, but they got some struggles. So, and I got to put also kudos out to our counselors, because I think they were there both days, and I didn't know these 2 counselors because they weren't there when my kids were there. kudos to them. They really stepped up to the plate to be there for our kids. And our social worker was there. I don't know if she was there both days too. So but kudos to all of them that we don't see too often. You know, the teachers come, the principals come, but these are our staff members. And I had teachers also in my group. And just really, it's hard to explain it, but it's a well organized program.
It's great to see. I mean, it's a great reminder of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes we talk about test scores and data, and all that stuff's important. It's a nice dipstick into our progress, but I mean, that's what it's about, is helping people become better people. And it works for the kids and the adults. So just a kudos to that team. In terms of some of the data and some of the things that we're really working on, to be quite honest, I've been spending a lot of my time working through the teacher evaluation process. Bob Larson and I have made our visit to every building, walking through, explaining to teachers some of the changes that have taken place. If you're not aware, now in the teacher evaluation process, 40% of their total score is now data, student data, with at least half of that being state data. So trying to explain that to the teachers and how some of that scoring has changed. It's a little bit different now. It's not just proficiency, it's all about student growth and every single kid's growth, and really trying to talk them through that calculation method. But teachers have been amazing in their ability to grasp that concept and zeroing in on every single kid. Dr. Outlaw and I have been meeting quite a bit recently as well, especially over at the high school, talking about dropout prevention and relationships and making sure that every single kid has an adult advocate, and working on some of those relational pieces from really K through 12. And that's been some powerful work, and we've had some great conversations. And then we're also continuing our work with really just making sure we're aligning our curriculum to the standards. Right now our real focus is on literacy, and we're starting to have some of those conversations in science as well, and we'll bring some of that to you very, very, very soon.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have our action items. If I could get approval of employment of the Brandon School science teacher.
I move the Brandon Board of Education approve to employ Kirsten McGlinchey as the new middle school science teacher as presented.
Second. Okay. Mike, Mr. Tucker, come up to the answer.
Did I pronounce it properly?
I believe so.
Kirsten McGlinchey, yes. I know, it's a mouthful. So,
So Kirsten started with us last week, and she job started a couple of days before that. Melissa Velasquez took a job closer to home. So we were very lucky to get Kirsten. She brings a wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge, my STAR curriculum background, all kinds of things, Google Classroom. She's hit the ground running and been a great asset in the short time she's already been there.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
my name is Kirsten McGlinchey. I actually graduated in May from Wayne State. Prior to that, I actually was pre-nursing, so I love science, and I knew that I was going to stay in the science field, but I got ready to start my clinicals in nursing, and I realized that I was missing something. And I went to my husband, I said, I need to switch. So, he goes, oh, okay. So I switched to teaching from nursing, which was, of course, like a huge change, but I couldn't be happier. I knew that this was my calling as soon as I started getting into the classroom and being with students. I actually have a background in the Navy. I worked on the flight deck of the USS Enterprise. So people are like, oh, middle school classroom, isn't that a little crazy? I said, yeah, but I can handle crazy. So it works out okay. I really am really excited to be here. I just keep commenting at how amazing and how sweet the kids here at Brandon are. And I'm just so excited to get to share this experience with them. So thank you so much.
Welcome aboard, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, after discussion, okay, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
If anyone opposed, say no. You're hired. Now we'll pay you. Okay, approval of the swimming cooperative agreement. Could I have a motion, please?
Move that the Brandon Board of Education approve the swimming cooperative agreement as presented.
Okay, and we had discussion at the workshop, basically combining with Goodrich for 1 year and getting kids and keeping kids in our pool. So, any other discussion?
Is it for 1 year? I guess I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's a 1-year agreement. You have to redo it every year when you have a cooperative.
Okay, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Okay, swim cooperative agreed upon. Okay, and then our last action item, approval of Dr. Matthew Outlaw's contract. Could I have a motion, please?
I move the Brandon Board of Education approve Dr. Matthew Outlaw's superintendent contract as presented.
Second.
Okay, discussion is, we had talked in the personnel committee and that every year, after evaluation, we've been trying to see if there was something to that we would give him an additional year on his contract, so I think it's to 2023. And that the 2% raise, that's also was given to all the other employees. Anybody got questions? And just doing a great job, and we appreciate it, so. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Opposed, say no. And contract approved.
No, you can say it.
Now you can get paid. Okay, and then is there any citizens input? Come on up, Sarah.
Okay, so I was gonna actually say this during the workshop, but then there was cake, so then I just didn't.
I know.
Which is okay.
And there was,
You didn't,
Yeah.
okay, so story of my life. It was regarding the capstone. I'd be curious if during this life planning teaching moment that we could talk about mental health in it, which I've talked with Dr. Outlaw about already, and when we toured, Melissa and I got to tour the high school, we talked about it with Mr. Stevens, but might not be a bad idea to take that in there. All of a sudden you're going out in the world, here you are, and that's when a lot of that can happen and a lot hits you, and so it'd be really cool to see if we could give some basic life skills. My husband's family makes fun of me because my tagline is for the kids, make good choices, just make good choices. And so if we could give them maybe, you know, when you're having drug and alcohol and you're at college or you're just at a party and you're on your own and you're starting to make adult decisions to make good choices, we could maybe help them out with that and be proactive on that capstone part. So
I
There's
agree.
probably some overlap with the health class, so that would be a great segue.
yeah, I'm one for talking about it than not talking about it. And if we're going to tell you how to balance your checkbook, we should probably tell you how to handle when you freak out because you don't have any money in your checkbook. So
Absolutely.
I think
Great
mental
idea.
health might be something to add into that.
Great
So,
idea.
and thank you to
Well,
Debbie and
thank you,
Bob.
Sarah. Thank you. Any other citizens input?
Motion of raising the subway. Raising the subway.
For us?
Yeah.
Oh, for the subs, oh, teachers of it. You have to do that for football.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, if there's no other citizens input, meeting adjourned. Good job.